All right, this is kind of crazy to me. These people are saying that, Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's upset with President Trump calls her all sorts of awful names, an OG MAGA person, a Republican congresswoman from Georgia who's about to leave office. She's fed up with all this crap. It amazes me, establishment conservatives, people part of Conservatism Inc., who are saying she's changed and is against Trump and something's wrong with her. The reason Marjorie Taylor Greene is upset with Donald Trump is because he campaigned on America First, no new wars, Doge, doing all these America First MAGA sorts of things, and he's failed. He's disappointed on so many fronts. He's talking about bombing Venezuela and, backing Israel and what they're doing in Gaza. And so many, Doge is gone. So many different things, and she notices that she says so, and Trump doesn't like it. But he's the one betraying MAGA. This is David Limbaugh, the brother of the late Rush Limbaugh, who I was a fan of, and is part of the reason I became a conservative as a teenager with his brother and the popularity of his radio show. This is him criticizing MTG, Marjorie Taylor Greene. I'm going to read this for you and then pick apart why it's completely ridiculous. From David Limbaugh, December 30th. I'm not keeping up with the MTG drama, but it is fair to say that she has, in effect, done a complete 180 in her ideology. Not because she had an epiphany, but because Trump, in her view, dissed her? ? No matter how nasty someone is to someone else, why would that make them change their worldview? She didn't. Unless their worldview were totally tied up in the person rather than the ideas, etc. It's also bogus and disgusting to me. All right, David Limbaugh, with all due respect, and anybody who thinks this about Marjorie Taylor Greene, of which most neocons do, I'm not even calling David Limbaugh a neocon. His brother would criticize him from time to time, which I always respected. Marjorie Taylor Greene is not budged. She respected the man that was Trump because he said things that she believed in, no endless wars, all the things I just mentioned, and now he's not doing them. She's dedicated to those MAGA principles and has problems with the man. You're saying that your worldview is wrapped up in a person rather than ideas. She's the one sticking to ideas. All the neoconservatives, many of whom left the Republican Party and went to the Democrats precisely because Trump talked about ending endless wars and putting America first and not repeating the Iraq war mistake and things like that. I know I'm just focusing on foreign policy, but that's what animates a lot of this. Trump's doing that. He's bombing in Venezuela. He struck Iran. He's not doing really much to stop what Israel's doing in Gaza, and we're funding it and all that. And Marjorie Taylor Greene says, I don't like that. I liked President Trump as a guy, but part of that was his principles, the ideas that he's betraying them. And she's mad. Here's David Limbaugh saying that she's wrapped up in the person. No, David Limbaugh and establishment conservatives or neocons who once had a problem with Trump because he was anti-war or paleocon or libertarian, however you want to say it, in his foreign policy. And anti-neocon is the best way to say it. But now we're like, oh, he's great. We love the person of Trump because he's doing neocon things. That's the people who, it's all about the person. They recognize it, and they're prioritizing that, or capitalizing on it with the base who can't really know the difference. Marjorie Taylor Greene, for all her faults, is a bright, principled woman who's sticking to those principles, despite the fact that the man who was the symbol and representative of them is betraying them, that being Donald Trump. This David Limbaugh statement is ass backwards. It's Marjorie Taylor Greene who's still MAGA, and Trump, if Lindsey Graham, who's never met a war he didn't like or didn't want to start, thinks this is the best version of Trump, what's wrong with this version of Trump is the question you should be asking, and not what's wrong with Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's MAGA to the core. I would even say Marjorie Taylor Greene, maybe Thomas Massie, somebody like that, but certainly Greene is the heart of MAGA, as the MAGA president betrays what he once ran on. So she's the principled one who's sticking to the ideas and the principles and not the person, and God bless her for it.